Here's a slice of irony. Here's Esoterica talking about first banned books. Meanwhile, they're censoring freedom of speech. Whoever's moderating the account, Justin Sledge or otherwise, I imagine all parties are at fault, but what do I know? Well, I knew it could happen, and this is what I mean by you gotta do the right fucking thing. Let's bring it up on here because I was just blocked on Instagram. This is the channel, and I really like what Justin Sledge gets up to. So, some people burnt some Torah in Justin Sledge's hometown. That's the gist of it. That's what just took place. And so I contacted a number of people who are, they're crying for him and saying that's horrible, blah, 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 blah. And it is. I left other things in this post, mind you, before I was, Oh, it didn't work, did it? Oh, I thought it cut me off. I left other things in this post, which said nobody should be infringing on other people in just such a way, blah, 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 blah. It's bad on both sides. You got to appreciate both sides. But I was blocked. So here, let me jump in here and I'll show you what I was leaving on there. We're off. And that's the last person I guess I contacted. Let's see. So as it reads, Israeli military actions in Gaza have resulted in the damage or destruction of 3 of the historic churches in the territory, as well as numerous libraries and educational institutions. Several sources, including a UN commission, have described the extensive and systematic destruction of cultural sites as potential war crimes or cultural genocide. It's important to appreciate the big picture, which is what I added for some of these superficial internet babies. Now, this reflects history, this reflects reality, this is currently afoot. Cultural genocide, just to be clear. And Justin Sledge censored me, or whoever's moderating his page on Instagram. That should concern you. That should concern you. And it makes me wonder if he's ever waxed poetic about not being, a Zionist or anything along those lines to keep things diplomatic on, Esoterica. I don't know. But he does support patently fascist censorship, which is questionable. What the fuck do I know? If you hung out, thanks for hanging out. This is not how things should be, but unfortunately this is how things are. Often taught that the medieval church. That's what I was shooting for. And you never know. Maybe I should throw this in there too. You never know. This is fresh, as kids might say. He might just be pissed off because somebody just did this and I'm speaking a bad word about fill in the blank if you can. So maybe he just reacted. But the point is to think, not react. And if you consider what he's left on the DARPA internet long term, supposedly it has to do with, using the cognitive process, the gray matter between your ears, which is contradictory to him quite literally knocking out a knee-jerk reaction and blocking me. But what do I know? Thanks for hanging out. For those of you who are curious like me, this just has to do with the clunky tinkerings of Instagram. Let me scroll back. Do you see that right there? I got a number of, I got 2 technically, 2. Notifications where superficial internet babies responded to what I left on the post. But when I click on it, well, I couldn't get to it technically unless it was through my notifications because Instagram wouldn't give me a direct notification because I was blocked by the channel. My point is, this stuff still trickles through, which makes absolutely no sense because things are less efficient than ever before. This didn't used to happen when people would block you, and you were blocked, and you wouldn't see any traffic. I'm sure some of you understand. Not all of you, but some. This will probably be censored on the DARPA internet, unfortunately, because patently fascist censorship is alive and well because most people cater to it. Would you agree, and this is if you're familiar with Esoterica, the YouTube channel, the Instagram channel, and they moderate a lot of different profiles on different social engineering platforms people call social media. Would you agree that by and large, the information that's presented relates to history? In other words, they cater in disseminating acts or aspects of history to the masses. And they do. So this is what they're censoring by kicking me to the curb for encouraging others to consider the other side to the story. And encouraging people not to buy into either side, because polarizing bullshit is the Hegelian dialectic, which is fascism in practice, in case that's never dawned on you. These are just some of the violent and absolutely atrocious methods of death. But wait, there's more. This is currently taking place. This is fascism in practice. This is not okay. I don't think anybody should be burning other people's, their scrolls, their books, busting up your clay tablets. None of that shit. Because that's not how things should be. But unfortunately, that's how things are. Because you and I are surrounded by people who do not understand what's what. Which is why it's important to appreciate history, which is absolutely ironic. It's also terribly important not to promote patently fascist censorship. Because by doing so, fewer and fewer people, especially those superficial internet babies out there, they'll never be privy to this. They'll never give two shits about this. Because you didn't knock on their door and spoon feed it to them. You didn't upset the apple cart. And all those other analogies. This is deplorable. Censoring people's bad. This is worse. But the two do go hand in hand. And as a reminder, it has to do with this jazz up here. Also, bear in mind, AI overviews would not exist if you and I were surrounded by smart people willing to do the right thing. Things are getting bad because you and I are not surrounded by smart people. We are surrounded by exceptionally dim lights who are marching in lockstep with their horse blinders on. Long term, I've been doing my best not to mislead others by example. Don't believe what I said today. Don't buy into it. Don't repeat it. Look into it. Use what I said as a tool and consider the information. Sit with it. In other words, think, don't react. If you think about how the DARPA internet functions today, I'm talking about the internet, it is the DARPA internet. People are reacting on a daily basis, which is making things worse and worse and worse. And it's by design, not coincidence. You and I have we're being manipulated. There aren't good things on the horizon, and it's because people are not thinking for themselves. Yeah. Shit happens. But you can craft moments. You can, use some attention and care. You can be mindful of your actions. You can, think instead of reacting. I'm disappointed in Justin Sledge and any parties involved in moderating what he gets up to on the DARPA internet. Absolutely disappointed. One last time. What the fuck do I know? Full transparency, I had to use other methods to get here, but this is the post that I commented on, which I already highlighted in the chain of events. And the one that I was censored on is my point. 40 people have circulated it, and if I was censored, nobody else is speaking out against what's going on either, because they were also likely removed. Which means all you see in here is people saying, this is so sad, this is bad, this is awful, blah, 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 blah. One second. Things like this shouldn't be taking place. I do want this to cut another way, because there's information available to you, and there's a lot of shiesty shit going on. So consider this version of the video the, firmly plant your head in your ass and don't think version. Because I'm going to splice in something I've already left on the DARPA internet, and so far it hasn't been removed. It probably will be, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. Only time will tell. And it's a gal. Take what she says with a grain of salt. Don't just click repost. But if you do look into it, there's some really shiesty shit going on having to do with things like this too. I don't support in any form or way what you're going to see on the second line. Just to be painfully clear, in case you're full of assumptions. Yeah? Just the same, nobody should be destroying other people's stuff, but no one should also be oppressing other people. Which, this cuts both ways. It's as ironic as it is atrocious. All right, I'll splice in that other video, and yeah, thanks for hanging out if you actually saw this video.
I started to research a lot Jewish roots and Jewishness, and I wanted to know what it is that Judaism is about. What does Judaism believe? So I started to study their writings, and their writings include Talmud, Zohar, Kabbalah, Shulchan Aruch, which is their Jewish law, or it's called Halakha. And I started to expound on listen to a lot of teachings by rabbi. I would open up a lot of videos that Chabad rabbi would specifically teach on halakha and on Talmud and explain certain things. And I started to see that there is a huge discrepancy between Christianity and Judaism, that Christianity has absolutely nothing to do with Judaism. Judeo-Christianity, as often as referred to, is oxymoron statement. It's diametrically opposed. And I started to see that basically they actually are the enemies of Christianity. So I could not logically understand.
And Judaism is not biblical, even by Old Testament standards.
That's correct.
God did not create Judaism.
Exactly. Judaism, as we know it today, is basically Pharisaism. Judaism is not true faith. It's nothing that God has given.
It's what Jesus condemned.
Exactly.
Right.
So I started to notice that we have the same battles today as first century Christians, as apostles, and that our enemies are the same enemies as enemies of Jesus. And it was the Pharisees with their oral law. You see a lot of Christians today, especially in Zionist circles, they think that Judaism is about Old Testament. That Judaism is just the Old Testament. All they believe, the Jews, they just believe the Moses law, and they practice the law of Moses. They have 613 commandments. Most of these Christians are not familiar with the Talmud, Zohar and Kabbalah, and where this 613 mitzvot comes from and what they're all about. So I started to study what they're about and what the Talmud teaches, and I noticed that there is actually a plan, there is a plot, and that's a plot against Christianity. The basically secret doctrine of the Zohar, what is behind Zohar, and you have to understand that the soul of the Talmud is Zohar, and the soul of Zohar is Kabbalah, the occultism or sorcery, as I refer to it. Now, this particular book, it doesn't speak against it. It only explains what it is, what the secret doctrine is. And here in a preface, it actually speaks of the secret tradition in Israel, together with some account of the manner in which it influenced Christian scholarship in Europe during 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. It seems like this is plot that is not new. This has been pre-planned long time ago.
They've been infiltrating Christian churches and universities and organizations for centuries.
Exactly.
To change the gospel.
To change the gospel and completely put a virus in Christianity. I call that a virus, leaven of the Pharisees. Mm-hmm. And today's Christianity, especially here in America, has a virus. And we have to identify what the virus is. But it's basically the same problem as Apostle Paul has. It's a Judaizing of Christianity, but they also brought in occultic practices. But anyway, as far as I was studying this, I came to a really shocking information. And here on this page, I highlighted it. It says here, according to the Midrash Talpigoth, the Messiah will bring eternal peace, which of course was understood by the Israelites as peace for Israel, plus that which may follow extermination for all who did not enter by conversion into the house of Jacob. So
Extermination.
yes. So basically what they teach is that if Gentiles or Christians do not attach themselves to the Jews, they will be exterminated. And of course, we are well known for our Noahide laws, that we brought this to a light. So then you go to Talmud and you start reading what is the plan for Gentiles. You see, Judaism is a two-tier system. Judaism puts the wall of partition back. It's the Jews and non-Jews. And according to Judaism, non-Jews are different species. They are not, they're humans, but they're not at a level of the Jews. Jews are supposedly divine. They're light of the world. They're the chosen. They have life of Hashem inside of them. That's the way they explain life of God inside. And the Gentiles, they can never achieve it. They're different species. They're on animalistic level. And the only way for Gentiles to make it to the world to come is to attach themselves to the Jews. And how do they do that? Well, through the Noahide laws, 7 Noahide laws. Gaon de Vilna have discovered the code or expressed, or he was able to get the revelation, as they say, of the mystery of Kabbalah. And they have predicted, in that book, they said that at the end times, at the Messianic times, the figure like Cyrus shall appear again. So all of these Cyrus prophecies.
That was like over 200 years ago?
Yes, it was all over 200 years ago.
There would be a Cyrus figure appear.
Right.
And what would the Cyrus do?
Well, in a Jewish mind, they have not only one Messiah, like we know Christians, we have Jesus Christ as one and the only Messiah. They have two Messiahs. One is a Messiah ben Joseph, and one is Messiah ben David.
They have two?
They have two Messiahs.
One's not good enough?
Well, this is the way they explain it. The Messiah ben Joseph can be anybody, whether Jew or a Gentile. He can be an Edomite, according to them, a Gentile. But that Gentile has to do good for Israel and move Israel towards its final redemption, tikkun olam.
Okay, so Donald Trump was there, and they were telling him, your name is in gematria.
Yes.
You're like the Messiah.
Right, correct.
Okay. So he's the Gentile Messiah?
Yes, according to Jewish doctrine, Messiah ben Joseph can be either a Jew or a Gentile who helps Israel in their redemption process, who is doing anything, all the good things for Israel, so Israel can come to a place where they rule the world.
Well, you have two different points in that. You have the Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben David, and one brings about Israel through redemption, but the other brings it about through war. And some are believing that that Trump could be possibly the David Messiah, and that Netanyahu could be the Yosef, which brings about the war, or vice versa. I forget now which one's which, but this is and there's all kinds of beliefs out there like this.
They need a Gulf of Tonkin incident. They need a USS Liberty incident. They got to do something to get around that Senate vote.
Yes.
Well, they consider him Ben Yosef Messiah for one reason. He has moved embassy to Jerusalem. Of course, there is a plan that all nations will move their embassies to Jerusalem. And then also he gave them Golan, and he's supporting their occupation of the land over there. So
are the Kabbalah wizards pumping this stuff into Donald Trump's head? Are they just making it up and telling him, hey, we have prophecies about Cyrus and the Messiah, and it's you. We've come to this conclusion. It's you. Are they just making this stuff up?
You know, I don't see the heart. I don't know if he's willingly part of that, or if they are really putting this into his head. So I don't know what the truth is.
We know that they're saying it to him. We've got recordings of them saying, you're the Messiah.
Right.
You're in gematria.
Now in Judaism, Ben Yosef can be several people. Every generation had Messiah Ben Yosef according to Jews. So when they speak of Messiah, you have to be really careful to understand what they mean. Because of course then they have the Messiah, the final Messiah, the Ben David Messiah, and that one will be...
There's three?
That one will be a sacred serpent.
He'll be a what?
Sacred serpent.
A sacred serpent?
Yes. Uroboros.
A snake?
A snake.
Yes.
They're expecting a snake Messiah?
Well, Rabbi Laitman, who is a prominent Jewish philosopher, he's one, of course, is taught by the Rabbi of Goan that Yana was talking about already. But Rabbi Laitman really promotes the idea very openly that in the Garden of Eden was actually the helper of mankind. And of course he writes about the sacred serpent, or the holy serpent he's even called, which they believe will be the last Messiah that brings about redemption. And so, I mean, I always think about how Jesus says in Matthew, that you're of your father the devil, or he says you are a generation of vipers. He's already telling you, but yet when we see this, then we see that they're looking for a serpent Messiah. I mean, it's just strange the way they think.
According to the book by Joel Baxt, Josephic Messiah, Metatron, and Sacred Serpent, that's the name of the book. In the second volume, he's describing the serpent that was in the Garden of Eden, and he's describing him as androgynous AI. And this is basically who their final Messiah is. They're bringing down their sacred serpent.
He's a transvestite?
Androgynous.
Or he's
male, female in one body, and AI, because Kabbalah is closely connected with technology. And in their books and writings, they're actually admitting they're going to bring their final Messiah through technology.
They're saying this stuff.
They're saying it.
I didn't say it, but I had no
it's in their
evidence of their writings. I'm just in my spirit believing that's where they're going with this. But you're saying that in their writings?
Yes.
They're saying that this snake Messiah is going to come through technology?
Technology.
Yes.
Yes, as technology is connected to Kabbalah so closely that basically Kabbalah is technology. It's occultic. And they're specifically talking about the sacred serpent that was in the Garden of Eden. They're describing him in this particular book, and he was androgynous AI, and this is their Messiah. In the Zohar, Talmud, and Kabbalah, the entire thing is separation of people to Israelitic and non-Israelitic, according to the book called Jewish Utopia. Now, they are building their own kingdom. It's the Jewish earthly kingdom with headquarters in Jerusalem, where their AI Messiah will be, and they're going to rule the world through the law. It will be international, one law, one religion, basically Luciferian religion. So yes, in a Talmud, this is the Jewish earthly kingdom, and this is why the Zionist Christianity have embraced Chiliasm. They have embraced, or Chiliasm, I don't know how you would say.
Chiliasm, which means 1,000.
1,000.
Where they get the 1,000-year millennial reign.
Exactly, which is a focus on earthly millennial kingdom. And this is how Jews and Christians are getting together, and Christians are so deceived, thinking that they're working for the good thing, for the Jews, like they're helping the Jews. The Jews are supposed to get this kingdom. Yet this is Zoharic doctrine, and it does not have good intention. As I said, that they want to rule the world, they want to get Gentile riches, and they want to rule the Gentiles. They don't consider Gentiles fully human beings, and in fact, as an end game, they have this strange doctrine, Adam Kadmon doctrine, which Adam Kadmon originally was, according to Zohar and Talmud, he was androgynous. Adam, like he wasn't male, or he was male female in one body, and this is why you see this transgender agenda today, and there are laws, very serious laws, passing in Alberta, Canada.
Is Zionism behind the transgender movement?
You know, I don't think that, personally, I don't think Zionist Christians are aware of this. They're not aware of many details of what
But
is
it's Zionism.
But I think that, yes.
Does the transgender movement get its origin in Zionism?
Yes, it gets its origin in Zionism, and it gets its origin in the Talmud, Zohar, and Kabbalah. It's a Kabbalistic doctrine of Adam Kadmon, which is eventually they have this doctrine called Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. Yes. So how do they want to repair the world? They want to bring it to the original. Who was original Adam? He was androgynous. So now they're putting specific things in full.
I remember when this movie came out, I've had no interest in watching it. Now enough time has passed where the agendas have come to fruition, which is why this was spoon-fed to us in the beginning. And 10 to 1, there's going to be lesser magic in here, apart from the fact that it's pretty on the nose. Case in point, Rob Reiner is in the first scene. Nudge, nudge, something, something. And seconds later, Ellen DeGeneres pops up. Nudge, nudge, something, something. Jenna Elfman's in this film. I can't remember his name. Adam, I don't remember it. Either way, he's part of the club. Some of you might know who I'm talking about. He's a talentless hack, by the way. He was in The Salton Sea with Val Kilmer. He had a really small role, stealing the poop. He's in a lot of movies. He plays a ghoul, essentially in the Prophecy film. You might know who I'm talking about. Just the same, supposedly this is a minority and this is already wildly disproportionate. It's a red flag is my point. Because the 1%, crudely speaking, our masters are laughing at us, and some of the low-level people in their families are paraded around as stars on the box and on the big screen. People don't want to talk about this. People don't want to, call the duck a duck. But these people have more because you and I have less. They are pulling our strings because this is programming. That's what it's called. Because it's propaganda. This is Ed TV. And this is a tool of conditioning. This was rolled out prior to social media to normalize things because this was well-financed and well-circulated, and you can assume otherwise, but it's undeniably true. So there's a cherry-picking piece of scum who I have left a couple of videos online complaining about. I told him not to follow my accounts. He shouldn't have been anyway, because I already told him to kick rocks. But he has no character, so he's still following these accounts because it's convenient for him. And I'm spoon-feeding him things because he wants things. But he's not willing to do the right thing and fuck off because he's not welcome. All the same, Gate of Baal El Allah, I spoon-fed you guys that jazz. It's not something people understood prior to me leaving it online. Because I could teach you things you're not supposed to know, and yet I have next to no one trickling in and keeping up. It's pretty fucking frustrating. But then again, most of you probably are cherry-picking pieces of fucking scum. So this is the stupid movie that I'm sitting through, and it's horrible. It's all programming. It's all propaganda. Yeah. And what the fuck do I know? The way this club works is if you don't hail from the bloodline, you marry into it. And there are nothing but examples. Usually I'll rattle off Ozzy married Sharon, which was his handler. And Kurt Cobain married into the Courtney Love family. And she functioned as his handler, for lack of better words.
Know what I mean, darling?
Assume this isn't connected to what I last said. Our masters are laughing at us. This is an act of lesser magic. You can read the words on the screen because they are applicable. I'm going to move along, so take a screenshot.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Nothing to see here. Guy on the top right is who I was thinking about. Not that we need to do this. Is Adam Goldberg Jewish? Does he have Jewish blood? Cool. Does Michael Moore have Jewish blood, or did he marry someone with Jewish blood? He was married to Kathleen such and such. Also, wait, what's this? Thing's in the way. It says none. All right. Doesn't look like it. Another individual, at a superficial Google search, at a blush. Another individual name that, an attorney, that's not applicable. Martin Landau is, I don't know who that gal is. Bill Maher is. Does Bill Maher have Jewish blood, or did he marry someone with Jewish blood? And this is already wildly disproportionate. Oh, and for what it's worth, was Rob Reiner Jewish? Bingo. I mean, it's almost like you and I are being manipulated. Does Jeffrey... what's it, Blake? Is that what the last name is? Does Jeffrey Blake have Jewish blood, or did he marry someone with Jewish blood? I'll be more specific. Does the actor Jeffrey Blake have Jewish blood, or did he marry someone with Jewish blood? And these are the keywords you have to use currently, otherwise you won't get any answers. It'll start waxing poetic about their, their political beliefs or their faith-based bullshit. It says there's nothing there. What's this say here? Searches for often lead to different Jeffrey in a such and such article. All right. The actor you likely mean is that. Revenge of the Nerds, blah, blah, blah. It discusses a man named Jeffrey. That's still not what we're looking at. I mean, again, at a blush. And celebrity do, but do not include. That's not what we're doing. All right. Who else? I mean, this is already one too many people if we do live in the age of, diversity. This is an old movie, mind you, but these are the same tactics that are currently being employed. And some of these folks, I've never seen them before. Again, I've never watched this movie, and I haven't watched the entire film. But I'm, how far in? Let me see. I'm 14 minutes in, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Looks like Woody Harrelson's brother's in this. Didn't know that. I don't know if this guy is too. Seen him in other... oh, yeah, he was in that really bad TV show with Timothy Hutton. Does he have Jewish blood, or did he marry somebody with Jewish blood? Yeah, I forgot you got to click on this one. Has stated that he is Cherokee, blah, 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 blah. Ethnicity. Marital status. While information about his marriage... and I don't blame people for keeping these things private, too. But it also begs the question, is Google lying about it? You never know. Some of the really big stars who sure as shit appear to be, granted, appearances may be deceiving. Case in point, the top two on the left. Google's going to tell you that they don't. But when you look like a lawn gnome, you look like a lawn gnome. And I mean, there are traits. These same people have, encouraged people to buy into just such that. If you know what I'm talking about, most of you probably don't. The same with, Ellen. Lawn gnomes, for lack of better words. Yeah. That's me being mean. I'm just tired of being manipulated. I am. And that's me justifying it as well. Our lives could have been very different. Not that this isn't beautiful, but we have strings and they're being pulled. And if you and I were free, they wouldn't be. The real thing that gets my goat is you and I are not healthy, and the system you and I are a part of isn't healthy, which means people I care about are not healthy. And the people that, they'll go on to, create will not be healthy. Because all the wrong people are in charge, pulling our fucking strings. And there's nothing but proof if you pull your head out of your ass and look around. Remember, I told you guys to firmly plant it in your ass so I could spoon feed you another video. Really, you should never buy into that. You should always think for yourself and do the right thing. But most people don't understand what that is. And she looks like she fits into it. Do think of David Schwimmer. I don't know if they're related. Is she Jewish? And did she marry somebody Jewish? I didn't say it right. Jewish blood. I'm wondering if there's Jewish blood involved. There's David. Well, there you go. Another one. And this is all just in Ed TV. I forgot, 99's when this came out. That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Is Elizabeth Hurley Jewish, or did she marry anybody with Jewish blood? I don't think I've ever asked that one. Not Jewish. Her one marriage was to an Indian businessman. German, Hindu, engaged to Australian. Yeah, that's all we got. I mean, at a blush. To be redundant. I think I already mentioned Martin Landau is. Does Clint Howard have Jewish blood, or did he marry somebody Jewish with Jewish blood? I'm being really wordy about this. Well, I fucked it up. Oh well. I'm not going to go back. I don't really care at the moment. Because most of you aren't going to sit through this. This might be removed from the DARPA internet. These are my excuses, but yeah. Does Jay Leno have Jewish blood, or did he marry somebody with Jewish blood? His wife, Mavis Leno, is Jewish and comes from a Jewish family. All right, we'll leave it off on that because, well, that tracks, doesn't it? What are the odds when Judaism is a minority? Let's play a little game. It's called Which One's Not Like the Others? And some of you should be familiar with the movie The Craft. This is yet another example. This just popped up while I'm slapping this video together. And you can play this game in terms of anything that you've ever been told, sold, and urged to repeat in terms of the programming. I guarantee it, from music, etc., etc. Books, music, and media. Now it's been rebranded content because we're moving towards social credit slavery and no one's doing anything to stop that. So you got Faruka Balk here, yeah? And right now she's barking at Nev Campbell. And I think prior to this she was barking at Rachel True. And in a second she's going to bark at Robin Tooney in case you don't know some of the actresses' names. There's Robin Tooney. Here, I'll go back to the beginning. It was about the cycle anyway, but that's Rachel True with the curly hair. Slowly. Oh, they don't even showcase her in this deleted scene as well as I thought they would, being that she's being barked at this very moment. And she doesn't get a headshot. Which is kind of surprising based on what I'm going to show you. Nudge, nudge, something, something. So I never say this gal's name correctly, even though it looks like it did spell it correctly there. Oh, but what I want you to see here is it says, does not have blah, 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 blah. Is the actress Faruka Balk Ashkenazi? Did it do it right? Yes, it did. Good. What's funny is sometimes Google will tell you that she is. I shit you not. I shit you not. But this one says no. Diverse cultural, let's see, providing a very diverse cultural upbringing rather than Ashkenazi. Wait. No, is not. Her background is mixed with her father, providing a diverse. Yeah, this one claims that she's not. But other searches in the past have clearly stated that she is Ashkenazi, just to be clear. You can assume otherwise. This one says she doesn't, which is what this said. Now, dancing back, we're just going through these 4 gals. So this is the initial gal, the gal with the darker skin. Nudge, nudge, something, something. It does say down here that she didn't marry anybody, but up at the top it says, actress Rachel True has Jewish heritage through her father, who is Ashkenazi. Okay. Moving along, Robin Tooney has Irish Catholic heritage, blah, 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 and it's going to tell you that she does not. and that there isn't necessarily a connection that Google knows of or that you should know of. Neve Campbell has Jewish ancestry through her mother, which means this is disproportionate through and through. This also means that two of these main gals in the cast make up, let me think, I always mix them up. The Ashkenazi having to do with, I'm pretty sure Rachel Trues did say that. Hers has to do with Europe, even though she's got darker skin. That's something to make you, scratch your head a little bit. And this Sephardic, which I never say it right, usually has to do with Africa, which is Neve Campbell in this case. Just to be clear. Keep in mind that it states right here, immigrated from Spain. It's also a great time to think of the black nobility in Spain, where your unconstitutional taxes are funneled, because it's relevant. Just the same, this is wildly disproportionate in terms of how Hollywood should probably be, conducting, business. Naturally, it does this. But this sums up Hollywood, because Hollywood's a joke in a club, and you don't have to be especially talented to work in Hollywood. Despite that fact, I do like this scene, I do like this movie, and I imagine they probably could have left this in, not that they needed it, which is why it's on the cutting room floor. Just the same, these are all red flags. This is one of many examples, and this is something people don't want to talk about. A lot of people will mention, the 1% and how they're so bad, etc., etc., and what I want you to appreciate is the people who have things, the haves, have more because you and I have less. So the word of the day is disparity. If you don't know what that means, you should look up the definition. You have a lot of tools available to you. The bigger point, it's not the 1% that's the problem. It's the 99% out there that support the 1%, literally, figuratively, and otherwise, and or plant their head in the sand because complacency got us this far. Like I said, this is one example. Sam Kinison wasn't, but all of these other examples just so happen to be. And they're connected to the post I'm going to show you. What you do is you take a screenshot and you read these words because you're invested, which means you're involved. You see what I see? Yeah? And then Dan Fogel, the guy that was going to play, just so happens to be too. It's a pretty wild coincidence. But it's anything but. Stranger Things recently crapped out a horrible finale. Big surprise. The first season was good. The rest has been a cash grab. And a good majority of the cast, the main cast, mind you, not to mention people behind the scenes, happen to be Ashkenazi. In case you don't know, that bloodline hails from Europe. So a lot of times you'll hear things having to do with, things with Europe and stuff, but you don't see people focused on the 1%. Because Judaism's a minority. Nudge, nudge, something, something. There are also 3 tiers to Judaism, in case you didn't know that. Not all of them are bad. They're not. I have friends, etc., etc. But there's some horrible people pulling our strings, and all roads lead to Rome, as they say, or Roma. Don't forget, that's not the top of the chain of the trilateral city-states. It's the middle. And when you hear people babbling about Jesuits, look up pure blood, because originally you had to have pure blood having to do with Judaism in order to become a Jesuit. Google will tell you that that's no longer the case, but if you pay attention to what's going on, we are using the DARPA internet. Google is a tool of propaganda. And you are no longer spoon-fed answers online. Because we live in the age of disinformation and patently fascist censorship. What the fuck do I know? As a reminder, I'm pro-Palestine. I'm not anti-Semitic. I support people who, belong in and, grew up there and, have genetic ties to the land of Canaan. But some of you might have been easily trained, which means you're full of assumptions based on popular opinion and hearsay, namely the programming, which is propaganda. And that's cute, but you are the fucking problem. Enjoy your day.